Welcome everybody to the Jaye Wellness Studio. I'm going to go over a little bit about red light therapy, kind of talk a little bit about that, not to bore you, but to kind of give you some background about it. If you're new to my channel, please like and subscribe. I talk about red light therapy, trying to heal the ears, tinnitus, eustachian tube dysfunction, and I really devoted a lot of my content towards these conditions because I feel like it's just needed more. We all know about wellness. We all try to do better with our health, but those are topics that I feel are quite saturated out there in the world. And I think finding those topics and finding information for those things are going to be pretty easy. But this condition and conditions pretty challenging to find out here in the world. So I really want to devote a little bit more time into that. But before I go ahead and bore you too much, I'm going to jump right into red light therapy, infrared light therapy device. Now, some of you have seen me demonstrate this, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this device. Now, if you're thinking, how does this work with pain? How does this work with eustachian tube dysfunction? What are some of the reasons of why this is beneficial to the ears? And I'm going to explain all of that for you, just to kind of break it a little bit down, give you a little bit of backstory about myself. I was diagnosed with this weird condition called eustachian tube dysfunction back in 2015 and 2016. And during that time frame, I had no idea what this condition was. I didn't even know where it came from. Really, I'm kind of, I have a kind of a skeptical, imagining kind of way of thinking. So I kind of feel like this condition came from a couple of different things, but I'll get into those a little bit later. But for now, I want to talk a little bit more about how I came to know this machine, how I came to even discover it, and why did this heal me? How did this heal me? Really? Well, to answer all these questions, I was pretty lost, like a lot of you probably are. Like I've stated before many times, I wasn't as bright as I should have been. Like a lot of you are. You're networking. You're uh, kind of connecting with one another on groups, trying to figure out, okay, how does this come to be? What are your conditions? Who do you see? What kind of things do you do to kind of fix this stuff? I just did a lot of Googling, and I kind of struggled with this condition by myself, going back and forth to clinics and trying to figure out, what are some of the best things to heal myself from this condition. And honestly, I don't want to always say I got the worst advice, but I didn't get the best advice either on many things. So it was really one of those things where just going back and forth to offices, that was probably the most challenging. Going in thinking, I'm going to come out here healed, realizing I came out more confused than not. So, but anyways, I don't want to go too much into that. Let's go ahead and fire this thing on, and we're going to talk about the benefits here. Now, if you're thinking in terms of wavelength, so there's a couple of things I need to talk about here with this. Is with red light therapy, there's everyone thinks when I'm discussing red light therapy, I'm talking about strictly red light. I'm talking about the infrared wavelength, the energy that this device emits. This device puts off an energy that our eyes cannot see. So that's what you're getting when you're using a FDA approved medical grade device from a very reputable company. It's up here. And I'll put this in a description for you, but there's a difference between using a red light product that's more so for the outer surfaces of the body, healing the skin from acne and blemishes, anti-aging products and things of that nature. But then there's red light therapy that contains infrared light. So when we talk about red light therapy, we're talking about the wavelength. So if you look at the wavelength chart, and I can pop it up here as well, you'll see that there's on the far spectrum, you see ultraviolet, more in the darker shade of blue and purple, and then all the way over you see more of the infrared side where it's more of a reddish color. Now our eyes can detect the red light, but our eyes cannot detect the wavelength of infrared. Infrared is what goes into deep into the skin, deep into our body to start affecting positively the nerves, tissues, and it starts helping fight inflammation. And how does it fight inflammation? Through oxygenation. And so the more oxygen one has and one promotes, the more healing we ultimately start to become we start to heal at higher rates and faster rates, and we start to heal more efficiently. And so I guess I should have this on me if I'm having it turned on. So when you think about red light therapy, you have to think about like I said, there's two spectrums of it. There's the red light spectrum, and then there's the red light and infrared light spectrum. And not every device walks the same pathway. So be careful when you're doing your research and you're out there looking for devices that are going to help with certain criteria that needs to be met for you: pain management, difficulty like back pain, stiffness. Those things you won't technically see the difference if you're just using a red light related device. That's more so for just the surface of the skin. Like I said, blemishes, scars, uh, skin tissue damage, things on the surface. So if you're trying to heal from something deeper than the surface of the skin, you're going to need infrared. Infrared is what's going to help you heal. It's going to help get to the core of things. It's going to help improve circulation. And that's what we all need. You need that even if you don't have problems with your ear. You need to improve circulation. A lot of you out there who are having ear problems, difficulty with the sounds, the clicking sounds, the swishing sounds, all these things, the muffling, you most likely have a couple of things going wrong. It could be a muscle issue, or it could be a lack of circulation issue. And well, I add another thing: inflammation. You have too much inflammation going on. And a lot of times this can go from poor posture. And look, I wanted to show you all this myself in bad posture so you can see the difference. Now, I've been leaning like this for quite some time. And for those of you who have been watching this video just now, I wanted you all to see how poor posture affects a lot of areas of the body. Now, look, I'm going to get in good posture now. I'm going to show you the difference. Now I'm in good posture. Why? Is because look at my shoulders. Look at my neck. Look how I'm sitting in the seat now correctly. In most of the video, the beginning of this video, I was not. I was in poor posture. See? Look how the shoulder is slooping down like a slide. This is putting strain on areas of the body that ultimately will reach your ears. It will reach the neck. It will reach the rhomboid muscles, the shoulder muscles, the deltoid muscles. It'll reach areas of the masseter muscle. It'll start affecting the ear muscles in general. The muscles and cartilage and tissue are all affected, and they're all encompassing nerves and arteries. And when you're in poor posture, you're sending signals to the body to start producing more inflammation, start inducing the pain. And then that just trickles down, that goes from the poor posture up into the ear region. And then next thing you know, you're dealing with all these other symptoms that from the outside have nothing to do with my ear being clogged. And so you go into the doctor's office, it's being treated on the surface. You go to the ocean, you see you see something floating above the ocean waters. It's very likely you're going to try to just scoop it up from the top and just move on with it. You see some kind of weird substance floating across the top of the water. Very rarely do people say, "Well, I need to get down there and see what's down there. I need a deep sea dive down deep and figure out what is causing the waters to show this kind of to have this kind of results on the surface." Sometimes you have to go deeper than the actual surface to figure out what's wrong. And when we go into the doctor's offices and different places, I will say, because of the amount of, I'm not a doctor, but I will say the percentages of people they go in for issues of allergies and issues with ear infection, or water, swimmer's ear, things like that, water in the ear, the percentage of that is higher than someone going in for ETD. So it's almost like it's very natural that when someone walks in for the 20th time of that day, they're going to start treating it as if it was a non-ETD related problem. And these people are going off about their day thinking they have a non-ETD problem, and they're treating it on an allergy-based problem. And that's what's causing the issue. Everyone should be a case-by-case scenario. And so because of something rare shows its face, that once every blue moon kind of situation, it's these people suffering are being added into the category with the majority of the higher percentage. let's say 95% of that each day, there's the same 3 to 4 conditions: swimmer's ear infection, middle ear infection, hearing related issues like hearing loss related problems. And it's like you have that ETD person walking in there, and it's like, oh, you're probably a part of that 95% or 90%. And so that's what causes a lot of the problems. And so this person starts going on. Well, then you start wising it up. You start getting wise about the situation. Like, well, this is not the same situation. This is not an allergy based problem. This is deeper than that, far deeper than that. And that's why my channel went from talking about how apples can help you, which, I'll still do that, but it went from talking about vegetables and apples and stretching and things like that, more so to the basis of why this condition is still lingering and why it is, mark my words, it is definitely on the rise. And it's on the rise because of poor posture. It's on the rise because misdiagnosis, a misdiagnosis. It's on the rise because the lack of resources. The Like I did explain how the lack of circulation, lack of oxygenation, all this stuff is causing it to still keep going, and living and breathing. And there are a lot of testimonies out there that don't line up correctly with a true core problem with basically the testimonies are about many different things. Some have come in from a cold. Now I have this. I'm actually doing my own research because when I started having ETD, it was almost in line with me having a job where I used headsets all the time, connected to a phone line. And so I don't know if there's a distinct connection between using, because that is beyond my understanding still. So I will be first to tell you I don't know a lot about that area, but I wonder if there's a connection with the condition of being connected to the phone line over 7+ hours a day, 40 hours a week. I had a job where my headpiece actually was this just 1 year, actually. 1 year connected to a phone line for 8 hours a day over a course of a couple years. So that's still in the works. And I'm hoping that I break ground on some of that research as well. But for all of you out there that have been under the weather and you feel this problem with the ear area, you're not just dreaming the issues you have. You're not just being overly sensitive about it. There is a connection with that's different than just your normal everyday connection with ear related problems. This condition is a beast of a condition that it mimics other things, and it makes you think you might not have something that's whatever it is that you're going to do to try to fix it. It's mimicking so many different things at once that it almost just overwhelms you before you eventually just say, I give up. I don't know what else, and you live with it. You either live with it or you lose your mind. And I'm hoping that after you watch this video, you don't live with it and you don't lose your mind. At least at the very least of it, I would hope you would just live with it over the other stuff. But of course, the main purpose and the main goal is to get rid of it. And that's what everybody wants. And that's why everybody's here. Again, I've done my research. I see it climbing. I see the chart climbing of diagnoses that are of this condition that are just going up. And there's not really one set person. You have videos on YouTube and people talking about it, but there's not really one set person that's dedicating research to trying to figure out why it's here, how to get rid of it, and what we can do to keep it away. And that's going to be me. And it is me. And I will continue to be that person. And so I hope this video was very helpful for a lot of you out there that are in complete, just distraught feeling. You're just in this level of, I am getting ready to just throw my hands up. Know that I was once you, and you're probably much better off than I was in terms of being diligent and trying to figure it out. I will, in some ways, I can also say that my ability to want to troubleshoot because of my profession of always trying to troubleshoot things and figure things out played a good role in the positivity of my healing. Played a good role in trying to find the healing from that because of my diligence and patience in troubleshooting and trying to figure out. It's all about process of elimination over a span of time. If you're good at process of eliminating over a span of time, but then also taking that data that you just process of eliminated and become consistent at what does help, and you put those two together. So what do you mean? Basically, is you take one day and you troubleshoot what's making you worse. Then you realize what's making you worse, or you think, or what's not making you better, and you don't do those things anymore. And the things that kind of doesn't really make you feel healed yet, but makes you feel somewhat better, you pull that in and you do more of that. And over a course of time, you start to find the healing. See, everyone thinks whatever made them feel better for a day, but maybe not made them feel better the next day, it's a failed attempt, and it's not. It's at that point it comes into a consistent. It's into you're in the round of consistency now. So whatever made you feel better for one day, but may not have made you feel better the next day, doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It means that all the time of you doing something that wasn't doing you any good is still in the works until you keep doing the good things for yourself over a period of time. And so what does that mean? Well, like me, I thought drinking coffee was okay. So I kept doing it because there were days where I felt okay drinking it. So I thought it was okay. But there were more days that it didn't feel good. So I had to get rid of it. Got rid of it. And then I had some pretty good days, and then it went bad again. I was like, wait a minute. But I got rid of it though. I should be always feeling good. It doesn't work like that. You have to kind of what I'm saying is you gotta kind of have to weigh things out and see what's making you feel better more than not. And then whatever that is, you keep doing that over a course of time, and it starts showing its benefits. Like working out. You work out for a couple of days, you look at yourself in the mirror, you say, it's not working. What do you mean it's not working? It takes time. So you got to keep doing those things. So I just wanted to kind of go over a little bit of those things for you. And, I definitely want to keep continuing to bring the content out and the lectures and things that are going to help keep your mind in good perspective. Because once this starts drifting, everything else starts drifting. So if this video was very helpful for you, please take time to like and subscribe. My channel really helps me keep the content going. It helps keep the video visibility up high so others can find this video and hope that they get some shed of light, some good positivity as well. But I'm going to go ahead now and step out of the Jaye Wellness Studio and leave you all with good hands with this video. Like anything else, folks, I think we can all agree we are here to simply go back to the basics. Take care, everybody.